Hello guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do some openings as white and black for this chess. So let's get started. I'm just going to go to analysis to make up my moves. So first for white, I'm going to show you the ballistic queen missile. You probably shouldn't always try this because you have to blunder a lot of sacrifice a lot of pieces, and if it goes wrong, you might be going to lose the game. But if they do the correct moves, you should probably do this because you get a free queen at the end. So basically, your first move is white. You need to put knight to f3. And then they obviously don't want to move their pawn here because then our knight can just take. So then they're probably going to move their pawn over there. And then if they move their pawn over there, we move our pawn over here. And then they probably will just gonna take, honestly, cause just like a free pawn. And then you move over here attacking the pawn. Now they can do a variety of moves here. They could probably move over here, but that's just super trash. Like if you see the bar, it just goes up. Like they were winning, and then after they do that, the bar goes up. So they're probably gonna do something like this move, where the bar doesn't go that high up. And after that, you can't take anymore. So you move your pawn over there. They probably gonna take your pawn, and you're gonna not take with this pawn, but take with the bishop. And then they're probably gonna do a random move, like trying to kick your knight out, like that. And then you're just gonna sack your knight here. And they're probably gonna be like, oh shoot, my queen and rook are in danger. And that's literally free. So I'm gonna take. And as you see here, white's percentage is 2.9 way above. And then you check them. They take because they can't move back here. And then you go take their queen. So let's review it. First move, knight f3. They're probably going to move to d5. You push your pawn to e4. Then you move to knight g5. And over here, they shouldn't do that because that'd be a trash move. So instead, they play knight f6. And then you sacrifice that, trade off that pawn. And then you capture with your bishop. And they could also, over here, they could also do a different move than move their knight over. Instead of moving their knight over here, they could also move their bishop over here. Just saying, if they if they guard with their knight, and then you move forward, they take, you take. Instead of doing a wedding, trying to keep the knight out, they could also move their knight over there, and that you don't do the ballistic queen missile there. You just lose a pawn. So if they do that move, do not activate the ballistic queen missile. You're just gonna lose a lot of pieces because the knight is guarding the queen. So don't do that. But if they do attack the pawn, sacrifice your knight, then sacrifice your bishop, and then you're up a whole queen. And then you should win the game from here. And then let's do another one. This time you're black, and you could still win their queen this time too. Or you could even checkmate. So let's do this. So this time we're gonna be playing as black, but we're just gonna do the moves as white. So white's first move is probably gonna be e4. Just saying, this is a black opening. It's called Blackburne. So basically, then you move your pawn to e5. They're probably gonna move their knight to f3. You move your knight to c6. It just looks like you're defending your e5 pawn, which is mostly kind of it. But then you're gonna do a sneaky move next. Then they're probably gonna move your bishop to c4. Then you leave your pawn undefended and move your knight to d4. Obviously, they can take with their knight, but we just get our pawn up here and we have a better position. We have like more control over here, which is bad for them. But if they take the pawn for free, they're like losing over here, as you see. You have to move your black queen to g5. And now they're gonna be like, oh shoot, my knight's in danger. So they're probably gonna move over here, because basically they're attacking your rook and then you can't do anything about it. And then you take their pawn. They're like, we're gonna trade off rooks. You check. They're probably gonna not move their, they have to move their bishop over here. And then you check them again. They can either move over here and then we can just go check. No, sorry. We could just go check. If they move their bishop over here, we just go check. They have to take with their queen, or it's checkmate because they move over here, move over there, that's checkmate. And they have to take, and then you're up a queen and you should win. But if they guard with their queen, you take with their knight. They probably gonna take with their bishop, and you're up a queen. You have their knight trapped, so you should be winning too. But over here, they could also do a different move. For example, if they're like over here, and then they move their knight over here. So if they move their knight like over there and they don't take, I would probably just stall and move your bishop to c5. And then if they take, you do the same stuff. They take, you take, they take, check. And then they could also do a different way. And they keep doing the same thing. Different way. Basically, that's if they, instead of moving their knight, bishop over here, they kind of like block their bishop off. And when you play over here, they're gonna probably like somehow block their bishop off, and they're not gonna do over there, and you could checkmate. Like for example, I had that before. They somehow blocked their bishop off. But normally this is how your game is gonna go. They're probably gonna take, and then you move over here. If they take, they just basically lost. You take, they take over there. Guard, take, and then you're up. Or they could also do this when you move over here. If they take and then you go over here, they try to guard their pawn, you just win a knight. So that's the Blackburne opening and the Ballistic Queen missile. Hopefully you learned something from this video. And thank you and bye. Please like and subscribe.